Welcome to November's rundown of the best indie games coming out this month. I'm going to start out by saying that I've left both Demon's School and Moonlighter 2 off this month's list, as I featured them in a previous video before they got delayed, but they officially both come out this November. With that proviso out of the way, let's get stuck into the games. First up is Project Thea, a turn-based strategy game with card-based combat. This is the latest in a series of what are interesting turn-based games that mix in some more unusual gameplay mechanics. This game moves into the post-apocalyptic oeuvre and has the player rebuild a settlement and recruit allies as you explore the wasteland. The card-based combat is quite tactical and has a bit of a Gwent feel to it. The mix of post-apocalypse and Slavic folklore is intriguing, and judging by their past games, this latest title from Muha Games has the potential to be a rather unusual and fun title. Project Thea comes out in Steam Early Access, November 20th. The Fable Manga build roguelike is a bit of a mouthful of a title, but ultimately it is a manga roguelike. What does this mean, I hear you ask? Well, you take part in battles against enemies, damaging them by placing skills on the page of a manga. Damage from enemies manifests as holes on the page, meaning you are unable to use those panels for that turn. There are 3 characters to play as, each with their own playstyles, alongside your usual in-game upgrades as you move through the roguelike map. The combat system felt very fun to play during my time with the demo, and it does a lot to make what could be a fairly standard deck-building roguelike stand out. The Fable Manga build roguelike arrives on Nintendo Switch and Steam, November 5th. Next up is Possessors, the latest and possibly last game from Heart Machine. Following the release and untimely end of the early access period of Hyperlight Breaker, Heart Machine have pivoted to this game instead. Possessors is a fast-paced action platformer, with combat that has been inspired by platform fighters set within an interconnected world. This title is something of a looker, and looks to be a return to form for Heart Machine's artists after their slightly bland previous game. My one concern though is how quickly this title has appeared. To have another game come out so soon after their last one failed rings some alarm bells. Hopefully it isn't being pushed out in order to bolster the studio's finances, but after the failure of Hyperlight Breaker and Solar Ash's poor sales before that, it does feel like this could be Heart Machine's last chance. Let's hope Possessors is good enough to help turn things around for the studio. Possessors comes to PC and PlayStation 5, November 11th. Kingdoms of the Dump is an intriguing title, a SNES-style JRPG set in a fantasy world of rubbish. What piques my interest with this title is that the developers behind it have worked as cleaners whilst developing the game, and are therefore drawing from their personal experiences for the world they are creating. The game leans heavily on its influences, featuring grid-based combat with timed hits a la Mario RPG, character swapping, a large map to explore, puzzle solving and some minor platforming. There are no random battles though, with all enemies visible on the map. As I've said, the setting is a major draw here, and it's smart for the developers to play on people's nostalgia a bit by looking to ape 16-bit JRPGs. Kingdoms of the Dump launches on PC November 18th. The Berlin Apartment is a narrative game set within one apartment in Berlin. As Dilara, you join your father, who is a handyman tasked with refurbishing an old apartment. As you work, you discover relics from the past that tell the story of previous occupants. Each story has a separate protagonist, with their own atmosphere, genre and gameplay twist, making each episode feel unique. It's a fun way of telling the history of a place through the eyes of various people, but set within the same space. I'm unsure whether these stories will coalesce into an overarching narrative, or if it's just a way of experiencing how Berlin has changed through the eyes of different people, but either way, it's an intriguing prospect. The Berlin Apartment arrives on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S, November 17th. Moving into the top 5, we have Foolish Mortals, a point-and-click adventure game that looks to mix the macabre with mirth. Set in 1930s Louisiana, you play as Murphy McCallan, who is in search of the treasure of Bellamore Manor. You must piece together what happened in Bellamore Manor 30 years ago in order to locate the treasure. You might even have to die. Gameplay seems to follow genre staples, with items to use and interact with in order to complete puzzles, and the developer references both Monkey Island and Broken Sword as influences. It's good to see a hint system is included, which should prevent player frustration, which can be common in this genre. I'm a big fan of point-and-click adventures, and whilst not as popular as during their heyday, it feels like there has been a resurgence in this area, and I welcome anyone who looks to Broken Sword as an influence. Foolish Mortals launches on PC November 5th. Neon Inferno is a hybrid side-scrolling and gallery shooter set within a dystopian New York. A vibrant and action-packed game that sees play switch between classic run-and-gun action and sections where the player must interact with enemies in the background. You'll be able to deflect attacks back at enemies and commandeer vehicles to chase down your foe, whilst playing alone or with a friend. It's very much a classic arcade-style game with lots of bombast, and from my time with the demo, it was a lot of fun. Neon Inferno romps onto PC and all the consoles November 20th. Entering the top 3, first up is Detective Instinct Farwell, My Beloved, a detective visual novel that takes inspiration from the classic Japanese adventure games such as Famicom Detective Club. Featuring a dramatic and moving story that is inspired by hard-boiled crime fiction and classic cinema, the game has a mix of 2D and 3D art and a colourful cast of characters to converse with as you look to solve the mystery and uncover a sinister conspiracy. I've played the demo and found the writing to be of a high standard with a good line in comedy which brought the characters to life. It's a fairly niche genre, but it's one that I think more people should give a try. Detective Instinct Farewell My Beloved launches on Nintendo Switch and PC November 26th. The penultimate game for November is Rue Valley, a narrative RPG being published by Owlcat Games that has garnered comparisons to Disco Elysium. In this title, you play a man trapped in a time loop, surrounded by a colourful cast of characters with complex emotions and hidden secrets. The game looks to deal with mental challenges as the main character struggles to cope with the shadows in their own mind as they repeat each day. Players will get to craft their own personality, which is where some of the Disco Elysium comparisons come from, with choices you make affecting the way the story plays out. Dealing with such a heavy and sensitive topic as mental health requires care and a soft touch. Developers Emotion Spark Studios say they have a medical professional in their narrative team and have partnered with global charity Movember, who have 20 years of experience in men's health, with the aim of reducing the stigma around mental health and to normalise therapy. It's a noble goal, and hopefully they're able to succeed with this game. Rue Valley comes to PC and all the consoles November 11th. Finally, we have my pick of the month of Ash and Steel. This one may well blow up in my face for reasons I will explain, but any game that looks to recreate the Gothic experience in 2025 will have my attention. For those not in the know, Gothic is a fairly janky but well-loved RPG from 2001, which focused on story and interaction with the world and other characters. Like Gothic, Of Ash and Steel is an immersive third-person open-world RPG. Looking to ape old-school RPGs, the game has no map icon or quest markers, leaving the player to work things out for themselves. You'll be able to influence the story via your actions, and there will be a large world to explore and interact with, alongside a combat system that uses different stances and active skills. It is a title that is going to appeal to a certain section of gamers, but it'll be interesting to see whether the younger generation take to it, as many grow tired of the hand-holding prevalent in modern games. The reason I say this may blow up in my face is because this is an ambitious game made by a small team, much like Gothic was back in the day, and from what I played of the demo, it is a bit janky and rough in places. This is obviously not the full game, but considering the type of title being made here, I think it's right to have some concerns, but I'm hopeful developers Fire and Frost can pull this off. Of Ash and Steel arrives on PC November 24th. That concludes the list for November. As always, a wide breadth of gaming experiences, I'm sure you will agree. Let me know in the comments below your favourite and if you think I have missed anything. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like the video and subscribe if you want to keep up to date with my videos and want to support the channel. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, maybe check out some of the other videos that are linked on the screen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.